Basketball stars find themselves every now and then in front of the bright lights, interviews, and press conferences, and the reason is not just because they love the attention. It's part of the NBA rules they have to follow, and it's become a routine in their daily life that they cannot avoid. Some call it the price of fame, but for some people, it's just a testament of their greatness. So we'll be going back, way back to their very first press conferences, long before they became the stars that they are now. Here are some of the first interviews of your favorite NBA stars. Before we get into the video, if you want to win a PS5 with NBA 2K21 and Madden NFL 21 included, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. When Westbrook was asked about playing in the NBA, he said, "I never thought I was going to play in the NBA. A lot of people who are in the NBA right now have been good since they were 8. I wasn't good until I was 17. Every superhero has an origin story, and with most good heroes, reluctance is expected, as long as it gives way to ambition and resolve." Russell Westbrook's story is no different. Russell began his NBA career in 2008, when he was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, which was later renamed Oklahoma City Thunder. Unlike most people who were born with the talent to ball, Russell was different and he had to train hard and strive for better things, and it eventually landed him a 4th pick in the 2008 NBA Draft. During his NBA interview, Russell was sporting a humble gray striped shirt with a gray tie. Russell was asked what kind of prospect he was 2 years before he was drafted into the NBA. He replied, "Nobody knew who I was. I mean, I like it like that. I don't like all the attention. Nobody needs to know. I'll just keep working hard, underground, trying to do all the hard work. Sooner or later, it's gonna pay off." Even at 6'3", Westbrook at the start of his career was invincible to most people. If he turned sideways, it's as if he would just disappear. This was because despite his athleticism and quickness on the ball, Russell was easy to overlook, easy to doubt and ignore. So his father taught him to work hard, really hard, so that he could never be denied of his dreams. All that hard work had paid off as Russell wrote his name in history books in 2021 by becoming the player with the most career triple-doubles in history. Russell was also asked, "Are you more of a point guard than you got to show at UCLA? Because that's sort of a concern about you, right?" Westbrook replied, I don't think so. That's just saying, that's a concern for the media, not me." Russell would eventually play for the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he averaged 15 points per game in his debut season. Russell formed a successful partnership with Kevin Durant and eventually became the 5th player in NBA history to make 1,500 assists and accumulate 4,000 points. Despite playing with a LeBron James who often stole the headlines and was the center of attention, Westbrook's explosive style of play often stole the show on many occasions. Westbrook is often accused of being selfish and not passing the ball, but there's no denying he's one of the best players in his generation. Back in 2015, when LeBron James was putting on one of the most spectacular finals performances in NBA history,
picked off by Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala to the rim. Great block! James out of nowhere, skies to the rim.
To remind us why he is the GOAT of his generation, an Ohio television station released a remarkable interview with the present Lakers star when he was just a sophomore in high school. This was more than 20 years ago, and it reminds us that before LeBron became an NBA All-Star and one of the greatest players of all time, he was once a high school phenomenon who was tabbed to be the next Michael Jordan. At the time of the interview, James was a lanky kid at St. Vincent St. Mary's High School in Akron, Ohio, and was coming off his 2nd straight Ohio State championship. Herbstreit, on the other hand, a former Ohio State quarterback who is now one of the more recognizable and popular faces in college football.
Where do I start? First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out here today. After a long discussion with my friends and my family, I've decided to follow my first love, and I'm going to sign with the Cleveland Browns, baby.
Was just working his way up the sports broadcasting ladder. The two of them sat down and discussed LeBron James' hopes and dreams, with the 16-year-old being far too accurate. In the interview with Kirk Herbstreit, James talks about his goals. James was asked what was his individual goal at the time, and he simply replied, to get to the NBA. And boy, we can say that dream has been achieved and met by 1,000 times. Listening to LeBron, even in 2001 when he was still only 16 years old, he sounded mature and far beyond his years with 2 Ohio State championships already on his resume. He also spoke of his desires to win more championships and his hungry desire to always win, even if that meant he had to outwork everyone else. Without a doubt, it's this same mindset that would see LeBron win 4 championships, 4 MVP awards, and 2 Olympic gold medals. Even at the tender age of 16, LeBron had become a star in his own right. But LeBron was making a claim to be the next major thing. Speaking about this, the 16-year-old was asked by Kirk to let us in on his secret. LeBron replied saying he wanted to be the best, and he said, "Every day, you gotta go out there and work because there's someone out there working too. And if you stop, I think they'll pass you up. So my coaches push me, I push myself. My teammates pushed me. My mother brought me up real good. As for the final 2 years of James' high school career, things turned out pretty well as James and his teammates went on to win one more state championship title and a national title. There's no doubt that LeBron has lived up to all the hype that came with him as a little kid who everyone thought was going to become a star. Back in 2009, when Stephen Curry landed in the NBA, it wasn't because of the immense talent that many fans have now familiarized themselves with, or even choice per se. Instead, it was a thing of circumstance and maybe fate. In fact, as crazy as it might sound, many teams were not exactly interested in signing the two-time MVP winner.
He will have limited success at the next level. Do not rely on him to run your team.
At the time when he was drafted in 2009, the Knicks were the only team that openly expressed a wish to draft Curry in the first round, and their intense interest might have been what caused many teams to take a look at the player and reconsider their options. One of those people was former Golden State Warriors coach Don Nelson, who must have been so impressed by what he saw that when the chance came to draft Curry, he immediately jumped on it. It's fair to say that in an NBA full of doubters about his quality, the Warriors were among the true believers. Being a Warrior himself, having to constantly overcome doubts about his future or if he would make it in the NBA while playing for the Warriors, Curry has become a two-time MVP, a three-time champion, the greatest shooter of all time, and the engine room of a record 73-win team. There's literally no one in the history of basketball who's had a more efficient volume scoring season like Curry. Since 2010, Curry owns 5 of the top 10 seasons, including the top 2. If we were to begin to list all his achievements, we would be here all day. During his first press conference, Curry was wearing a light blue dress shirt, and even though he was 21, he appeared rather more like a 16-year-old. Curry was first asked if his father, a former professional basketball player himself, Del Curry, who played in the NBA from 1986 to 2002, helped him in any kind of way. Curry replied, "When I get drafted, it's going to be me doing my own thing. Having him at my back is a good resource. If I have any questions on what's going on in the transition to the NBA, how to handle it, what to expect, that's obviously official for me. Any advice he can pass to me would be great." It's worth noting that while that question seemed innocent, it was also a question of if his background had seen him get to where he was, and Curry quickly sensed that. And that's why he began saying, "When I get drafted, it's going to be me doing my own thing." Curry's rise to the top is not like the typical story where a humble guy from a humble background rises to fame through sheer hard work and considerable talent like LeBron James. Curry was different. He's a light-skinned point guard, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, something that did not exactly sit well with many people. But when you consider all the things that Curry would eventually achieve and how much he is beloved by fans now, Curry seems to come simultaneously from the dead center of the game and from absolutely nowhere. One of the major things the Golden State Warriors fans were concerned about after their team drafted Curry was his size, and this came up again during the interview. Curry was asked what he thought about people's opinion on his size. He said, "I'll just play through. I'm gonna get stronger, gain some weight, and get quicker and faster. Just working with the same guys wherever I am and being at my focus every day. I've heard and had criticism all my life, and it's not different. I'm gonna brush it off and play my game." At the start of his career, Curry had to constantly deal with criticisms about his height and size, and many people wondered if the young small guard could survive in a league that's dominated by taller, bigger, and faster players. And we think he's proven everyone wrong 10 times over. Just like Wilt Chamberlain had changed the game with his sheer physical dominance more than 50 years before Curry stepped into the limelight, Curry has also changed the game, opening it up to such a degree that coaches teach differently, the NBA operates differently, and perhaps most notably, skinny girls and guys he'd never met could watch him and find greater belief within themselves.
I'm not the most athletic guy, but I try to use my smarts and quickness to have an advantage on the court.
Former Warriors general manager Larry Riley said of Curry, "A lot of people were saying he's not a point guard, that he's a two guard, but he's too small to play there, not strong enough." Part of the problem, I think, was that he looked like a 16-year-old kid. But we actually looked at it differently. Sure, we had some slight concerns about him physically, but we also felt if we got him in the weight room and gave him a chance to mature that he'd be okay. If you look at his dad, Del, he was built pretty well. The whole family is athletic. We figured it might take a while, but that his body would come along. Curry did not start tearing the league apart immediately. It took him 3 years and multiple ankle surgeries before he could finally shut up his critics, and then he took the Warriors to the playoffs for the second time in 19 years. 7 seasons later, Curry had taken the Warriors to 5 consecutive NBA Finals, won 3 championships with Curry earning back-to-back NBA MVPs and becoming the only player to win a unanimous vote in the league history. In 2021, Steph Curry passed his predecessor and became the player with the most points in Warriors franchise history. Chris Mullin spoke on Steph's achievements, saying, "Even those with the highest regard for him coming into the league, I don't think could have forecast the heights that he has reached. More importantly, he's been able to stay there. He's exceeded the highest expectations by miles." Steph Curry is no longer the 21-year-old lanky-looking rookie that came into the interview looking like a 16-year-old, and his effectiveness in the NBA since then has taken a more powerful form than just scoring or passing. That effectiveness has not only taken his team from believers to achievers, but in ways that have changed the NBA forever. The three-point revolution is in response to Curry. Shooting off the dribble is in response to Curry. And when effective and efficient scoring is mentioned today, that's again thanks to Curry. Kevin Durant has been in the league for 14 years, and while he might not make the list for the top 5 NBA players to play the game, he is definitely one of the best pure shooters the league has ever seen. With a combination of size, shooting skill, and defensive versatility, Durant's size and talent makes him extremely difficult to defend, and when he gets going, he becomes almost unstoppable. While Kevin is now one of the most popular names in the NBA, he wasn't always a global star, but his rise was something a lot of people predicted, and it actually started out early. KD grew up outside of Washington, D.C., where he played ball for some prestigious high school programs. He spent time at both Oak Hill Academy and Montrose Christian School before heading to University of Texas. Durant entered college as one of the top recruits in the country, and while he only spent one season with the Longhorns, the 7-foot NBA star did not disappoint. He averaged 25.8 points, 11.1 rebounds per game, and claimed the Wooden, Rupp, and Naismith Awards in the process. After his strong freshman campaign, Durant entered the 2007 NBA Draft as the second overall pick behind Greg Oden. Just before his first year, Durant sat down with an interviewer and discussed his future in the NBA and the fame that comes with it, as well as his long-term expectations and his future in the NBA. Speaking about his team, Kevin said, "We work hard every day. It's been kind of tiring, but I'm looking forward to the season, so I'll get through it." Entering the 2021 season, Durant ranked 31st in NBA history with 22,940 career regular season points in his first 12 seasons. But the 4-time scoring champion's exploits in the league began with the Seattle Supersonics, who selected him number 2 overall in the 2007 NBA Draft.
With the second pick in the 2007 NBA Draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Kevin Durant from the University of Texas.
When the then 19-year-old was asked about how he felt watching the team he was going to play for, he said he was a bit nervous watching them play, but he was looking forward to playing with the team and helping them in the best way he could. KD would eventually go on to win the Rookie of the Year award in his rookie season, averaging 20.3 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game, a result of his overwhelming talent as well as his desire to improve. His head coach at Montrose Christian High School, Stu Vetter, said he would come to practice at 6 a.m. to work on his shooting. During the interview, Kevin mentioned how he wasn't looking to be the best player or anything like that. He said he only wanted to be just another player and create his own legacy. Well, how much of that has changed now, Kevin? Kyrie Irving is one of the most talented and popular NBA players in the game today. While most of his popularity in the game is due to his talent and skill on the ball, he's also gotten a reputation for being the player no one wants to hear anything from.
It's hard. Team environments are hard. It's not as simple as just, listening to everybody else speak about what's going on with the team. And, it's hard being a professional athlete, being in a team environment and wanting to accomplish something very great. Everyone always going to say, oh, they need to do this, they need to do that. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody's been in my position. Nobody here. So I don't expect anybody here to understand that. Everybody can just speak on it, and just give their opinion about what would be best for it.
However, we'll be going way back to one of the first times we heard Kyrie Irving speak, which was during his draft interview. Kyrie was asked, "How special is this moment for you to be able to do it in New Jersey? That's a pretty nice tie you have on. This is a special opportunity for me, and I'm having fun with this whole entire process." At the time, Kyrie was touted as the number 1 draft pick, so Kyrie was asked what that meant for him. "It will be really special for me. Honestly, I don't know if I want to cry. I don't know if I want to hug my dad first, my sister first. It's all scheduling, and I don't want to shed those tears until afterwards. So, right now, it's just special for me." Usually, the first top 5 pick of the NBA draft receives a lot of money compared to the other picks, especially if you're the number 1 pick. So a reporter asked what Kyrie would buy with his first paycheck. "My first NBA purchase? I'll probably buy some socks. I'll probably buy some dress socks or something." We don't think Kyrie is telling the truth there. Kyrie was also asked to say what many people don't know about him. I'm a musically inclined kind of guy. I can play the saxophone, the trumpet, and the baritone. We bet you didn't see that coming.
It is the sweetest name I know.
Kyrie was also asked what his goal was in his first year of the NBA. He replied, "Just to come here and just make an immediate impact, you know? Just to put my team on the winning side, whatever team I go to." Given his impressive performances in high school and the NCAA, Kyrie was also asked if he had any chances of winning Rookie of the Year. He said, "Not yet. I'm not really an individualistic guy. I'm all about team ball, and that's the only thing I'm really concerned about, winning." Why do we have such a hard time believing that, Kyrie? Another reporter asked about the possibility of not playing basketball, and he answered the way any NBA player would. "No, I've never thought about that. Right now, I'm just about networking myself, preparing myself for when I finish playing basketball." Perhaps the biggest question in the interview is when Kyrie was asked about how he felt about filling LeBron's shoes if he was eventually drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Here's what Kyrie had to say about that. "I'm not really looking to fill a void. I'm not really looking to replace anybody. Right now, I'm really focused on myself and whatever team I go to. And if that's the Cleveland Cavaliers, I just feel like I will bring myself and my game and just try to make the team as successful as it can be. I'm not really focused on fulfilling a void next year." Well, that's amazing to watch, don't you think? It's amazing how far Kyrie has come since then. Tell us in the comments below what you think about this Kyrie and the Kyrie playing today. Just how much things have changed. Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot.